Pride is what we show in our sovereign nation. Power is what we show in our traditions. Strength is what we show in our song and dance. Pride is what we show in our elders. Power is what we show in our language. Strength is what we show in our Red Lake warriors. Pride is what we show in being the Red Lake Ojibwe Nation.
Gawin Wika Niwena Siwak.
Red Lake Reservation is a country proud and sovereign that in many ways remains undefeated as a people and a nation. Red Lake remains undefeated because we have the given strength to hold on to our traditional beliefs about the land and our culture.
Land cannot be sold. The land is our Mother Earth. It cannot be sold.
We as Native Americans have great respect for Mother Earth as we do many other cultures. There is no specific term within our language for the word nature. Ojibwe culture respects the earth as part of its very existence, and thus it is rare for us to categorize it as if it were something outside of ourselves. Long ago, we only took what we needed to survive, like herbs for medicine, rocks for tools and sweats, sweetgrass for ceremonies, and animals for food and clothing. Our chiefs would not compromise this belief about the land. This is why they never signed the Dawes Allotment Act of 1887, an action which divided and disempowered many other reservations in the U.S. The Dawes Allotment Act gave enrolled members 160 acres of land, which was often sold to European settlers as farmland. This, along with the boarding schools, helped the U.S. government in its goals toward assimilating Native peoples. It has been difficult for us to reach back and hold on to the traditions that were most lost in the brutality of assimilation. But because of our continued sovereignty, we, the Red Lake Band of Chippewa Indians, have maintained much of our culture, our language, and our heritage. Today we live a life enriched with powwows, moccasin games, lacrosse, basket making, bead and quill work, sugar bush, and many, many other traditions that keep us strong and united.
Games have always been an important part of our culture and history. The moccasin and lacrosse games in particular are part of our Ojibwe culture.
We believe that in different areas of the country, the versions of lacrosse were given to us by the Creator to play for His amusement. And we are not real sure on the origins behind it. Historically, in this area, northern Ojibwe of Minnesota, they have been played in the area communities. A ball club has been named after the game. The last couple of years I've been bringing the game back with the interest, with the focus keyed on keeping the culture alive and through the game of lacrosse.
Did you play any traditional games like moccasin games?
Oh yeah, moccasin games, lacrosse. Play that, especially on 4th of July. You know, Canadian people used to come in. You know, you had a big game on 4th of July. Moccasin games, lacrosse.
How far do the moccasin games date back, and what is their history?
Well, a lot of the old timers I learned from, used to be an old man named Doc Johnson. He was 74, 75 when he used to play. When I teamed up with him, he played when he was a teenager. He learned from his father, and his father learned from his father. It goes back probably well before the white people even got into the area. Did the games disappear during the period of attempted assimilation? Sometimes they were outlawed, like they were saying before, where they had to play out in the brush and kind of think for themselves. But then there's a lot of misconceptions on that too. So these powwow communities where we try to get a moccasin game going, and they try to tell us it's not part of the powwow, and that's not true. Years ago, at the older lake powwows, they used to have, in Red Lake, they would have boxing game going with the powwows.
Guys, you way back, Mavisha, with them in knowing, being way in the Gadeg, the clock, what doing?
Beginning in the mid-1800s, native peoples were placed in mission schools and boarding schools. We were taken from our homes and forced to learn the European way of life. We were told to forget where we came from. Our hair was cut and we were dressed like dolls. We were beaten if we spoke our languages, participated in our ceremonies, or practiced our traditions. This is something we will never forget. But our Indian way teaches us we must look upwards to the Creator for the good and the lessons life has to offer. Even though boarding school life robbed much of our identity, we stayed strong and looked for ways to make our lives there tolerable. It was in these schools that we first found the sport of basketball. The tradition of basketball originated centuries ago with the indigenous tribes of Mexico. It is no surprise then that our love for the sport is strong. Since this time we have had many talented players, the first of which started with the team of 1951. Through the years, the only thing we could do is keep practicing and getting better until one day we became undefeated.
My name is Peter Strong Sr. I played basketball from 7th through 12th grade, which I think was 47 to 51, somewhere like that, 1951. I didn't play ball in the 7th grade, but I played in the 8th and 8th grade B team, and the 9th through 12th I ended up on the A team. It was pretty well established, and we had won 19 out of 21 games during the season. We lost to Bemidji during the district, which pretty hard to get by. Well, the record speaks for itself as far as the high school team. They beat practically everybody they played. And I thought when they played the Aussies, the Australian team, that they were on their way to the state tournament because they had played ball continuously. You can't get better by playing for competition. You got to play tough competition.
Graduated in 53. I played 4 years before that. Started playing when I was in 8th grade. Made the first team when I was in 8th grade. On my 12th year.
What position did you play?
Forward and center. We trained pretty hard, you know, those years, you know, we didn't, the guys didn't go in old plays like, you know, we can go like pool hall and things like that. We just stayed on and played ball. So.
Do you have any advice for today's players?
Just keep training, train hard. So that's all we did. We trained hard. And don't get involved with drugs or drinking. Just stick to your studies, and if you follow that, you go a long ways.
My name is Don Lucier, and I played basketball up in Red Lake for, about 1949 through 1952. We did have a couple of shooters who were really good, who did most of the shooting, but I think the other three kind of controlled the tempo of the game.
Who were those players?
Tony Wells was a center and was really a good shooter. He was a good inside man. He was about 6'4", which at that time was a pretty good height for basketball. There weren't an abundance of 6'7" and 6'8" players. In the district tournament, we won a game by 1 point, and it was a last-second shot that Francis Brun Chunky shot up and went in and won a game for us. So that was really exciting.
My name is Francis Brun. My nickname is Chunky. I finally grew into the nickname there. I was pretty skinny when this old photo here that taken back in 1952 when we had a fairly good team up here at Red Lake. I thought Red Lake had a real tremendous year as far as winning games. Their competitiveness certainly showed, that a lot of games, they were pretty tight games, and they would come in and just run away with the game in the last quarter.
My name is Keith Defoe. I played from 65 and graduated in 68.
Don, do you have any advice for any future players?
Just start young, play the game to have fun, win or lose, as long as you're having fun.
The time has come to honor the basketball teams that have honored the Red Lake community. For more than 60 years, our people have been playing this game with determination and commitment. We honor those from our past as well as those yet to come.
In 1995, the Warriors basketball team represented the Red Lake Nation. With great strength, these young men made the community shine as if they were the rays of the sun. Our Red Lake Warriors are just one example of many strengths we carry.
B-I-C-T-O-R-Y, that's the Warriors' battle cry. If we win or if we lose, that's a cheer we'll always use. Fight, fight, the Warriors are the best. Fight, fight, the best from all the rest. Fight, fight, B-I-C-T-O-R-Y, that's the Warriors' battle cry.
The basketball players hear us and the fans, they get fired up. When they hear us cheering, the fans cheering right along with us, they get fired up. And they need us.
Well, I think you guys remember 2 years ago we were 25-2. 2 losses, and we were strong then, and that's why we have such a good following this year. Even though we were undefeated, if we were 20-4, we still had that same crowd there because of the following.
We just have to spread the good word that basketball Red Lake had a good basketball team this year, and I think that let everyone know, everybody. They accomplished a lot this year. They're a pretty good team. They'll be a good team next year, and they'll probably state, I guess.
As 7th graders, I was their head coach, and they went undefeated. And right there, I knew these kids, as they progressed through the years, I knew that this is going to be a special team. And just working with these kids, you don't have to tell them very much. They just catch on to it. They seem like they've been born with a basketball in their hands.
So who were the leaders of the Red Lake basketball team?
Well, you got to look at, starts with Kevion Kingbird, I think. He's a point guard. He's a senior. And when he's got the ball, it's pretty secure. There's not too many people that can take it away from him as a point guard. And he makes things happen. He gets the ball to the right players at the right time. And him and then Randy Halterson, and you got to look at Bob Barrett, too, in center. If you don't have a center, you're not going anywhere. I don't care if you're playing 7th grade, 8th grade ball. If you don't have a center, you're not going to go anywhere. And we need Bob Barrett being there a lot stronger than he was a year ago, and you can tell he's a lot more mature. I think we didn't have just one player. All 5 kids, even off the bench, they all came in. If one guy had a bad night, the other 4 stepped it up. If 3 or 4 guys had a bad night, we came to our bench and seemed like they came in and did a wonderful job. And I think that's one of the reasons we're the depth of the team, and the kids' hard work, showed up every day to play, and also, once again, you got your fans there to keep, if you are down one night, the fans will pick you up and get you going. And sometimes you do have down nights, and that's why you have fans, that's why you have backup players, and I think that was the key to an undefeated regular season.
So who is the best player you like to watch?
My son, of course. You know. Not only that, I like his power. You know, he's got a few quick moves, and that's, you know, I just like watching. I like watching Randy. You know, his 3-pointers, his drives. Actually, it's hard to choose one. You know, Kevon can't beat him when he got, you know, close to the hole. No one can stop him. So it was really, other than just my son, you know, I like watching the whole team. Friendship that these boys had with one another. It was more than just a team. You know, these guys they were almost like brothers. They're always hanging out together. They're more of a team than I'd have to say most teams are.
I feel I was very fortunate to have this group of players. They've really worked hard the past couple of years. They're just a real good bunch of young men. I think the key to their success has been them being alcohol and drug-free. I believe this has really made the difference. Bill and I have really a lot of respect for our community support. We consider them to be our sixth man. I don't think we could have reached our degree of success without this support.
Makes you feel really good. I mean, really good. You got like 5,000 Indians. Makes you feel real good. It's a feeling you can't forget. You go to subsection games in BSU, it's loud. It gets so loud, it just rings in your ear, back and forth. But it feels really good. It makes you feel like a star for a moment there, once in your lifetime, probably. Makes you feel like you're really special.
Do you remember any special game where the fans, where your community really...
I have to say Bagley, that's the game we lost. I mean, the game was scheduled at 8:15 and they were there at 2 o'clock. The gym was packed. I remember that was the time they were there. Around the Red Lake Warriors and we're on the community in Bemidji, Cass Lake. I guess that's something really big. North Dakota even. You playing the Red Lake Warriors, you're somebody like Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson or something.
Both of them after school would go to colleges and play. Stick with it, I guess. They're on the right road.
That's my part advice to be. Just keep sticking with it. If you want to take my shoes, you got to practice 10 hours a day, I'd say. Just to stick with it. Try to go to the right road, I guess.
Through the three years that I've been playing so far is a winning tradition. Jack DeJarle, our coach, has always had a winning tradition. Through the 3 years that we've been playing, we only lost like 5 games, so that's pretty well a good accomplishment, I would say, in my part. And when we all play together, nothing can stop us. There's magic everywhere. And the community is also important to us because they're always backing us up every game. They don't put us down or nothing like that. They're just there backing us up, and that's what we like to see from the community, this community backing us up and letting them know that they still care even though we lost after our Bagley game. Although I'm going to be gone next year, after next year, we're still going to have some rebuilding years and some accomplishments, some individual accomplishments with the young players as they grow up and learn more about Jack and how to play the game and how to really go out and be a winning team like we are the last 3 years.
We're looking forward to next year. You got 4 seniors coming back as starters, and we got a great bench coming back, and just can't wait until probably November, December here and get these kids rolling again. And hopefully, if you don't make it to state, you don't make it to state, but that's the goal we have to set because you got a team like this, and comes once in a lifetime. We got a shot.
To be a Red Lake Warrior, you have to not only be involved in the sports, you need to have your whole person in order so that you can be successful. You need to be in school for attendance. You need to have your grades up. You need to be getting along with your parents and your family, your brothers and sisters. You need to be a whole person, not only one area of strength.
Stay in school and at least try to maintain passing grades, you know. I guess other than that, the most thing that any player that wants to be competitive is his desire to win and his desire to be fair, to play fair.
I hope for my community to stay together, stay strong, keep going to games and keep, you know, talking to children and keep getting everybody involved so they.
As we look to the future, we as a community will unite and stay strong. We are a sovereign nation. We are undefeated, and we are the Red Lake Ojibwe Nation.
Our survival has come from our very existence. Our very life is a statement that of resistance, that we've been able not to succumb to the efforts of the outside society to assimilate us. Assimilation.
We were never defeated. We never took allotments. All our land we still hold in common with our ancestors and forefathers had the foresight enough to leave for myself and yourself and our people that currently belong to the tribe. So I think that has a lot of bearing on the pride that our youngsters display when they get out on the basketball court, as far as having their own identity as a team and as people. So I think that contributes a lot to being undefeated.
Kiwi waban daigum ugo mazinat tise squadani zaga iganing ejmika deg uma nishnabe ge yawad mashkwenda nawa nenda moa diu dishkuniga na nawa minawa uditwa wa nawa.
Honor the past, serve the present, and prepare for the future.
We are the seventh generation. We are responsible for the future of the Red Lake Nation. We have much to learn if we are to be the leaders of tomorrow. So we look to those around us for help and guidance.
Seventh generation is the young people of today. They're the ones who are responsible for bringing back the culture and a lot of the things that have faded away from us. I think that now, as opposed to my generation, the younger people of today are going to know a lot more about our culture and our language.
Seventh generation, to me, is my younger brothers and sisters, my children. They're the fortunate ones who I can say in my family have been born into that prophecy of knowing and understanding from birth, tradition, culture, values, practicing the dance, understanding the dance, the circle, the drum. And that's the generation that is referenced when we speak of the seventh generation.
Seventh generation, we got to keep our traditions alive and culture. Like, we got to hold on to what they fought for so many years. The generations before us, we got to keep what they fought for, what they kept.
We listen to the land and to our great lake. Our land is the most important piece of our traditions. We use the land for its resources, but we also look to it for our teachings. They provide food for our community to live and prosper. They also teach us many things we must deal with in life. As our teacher and our mother, we listen to their cries and respect what we are offered.
This is the land we fought over. This is like the land we pretty much lived off of for our last generations. Goes with keeping our traditions and our culture. This is like part of our culture, this land. It's like what we're known for.
Red Lake Nation is different than all other Indian nations because of the fact that we never went for allotment. And so we are the keepers of the original view of the land as it was before contact. And that is that our land is held in common, that no one can own the land. No one owns Mother Earth.
Our land is special, our reservation is special because a long time ago our 7 chiefs, they didn't give up our land because they were thinking of us now and how it would be like in the future.
Being part of an established nation within a nation, I feel that we can only get stronger. And the stronger we get, the better chance our younger brothers and sisters have in the long run, because it brings back more and more culture.
What we need to do is establish our own economy where we can sustain ourselves economically, and that's easier said than done.
We have to consider very carefully as to exactly how much are we going to trade off for economics versus retaining some of the culture and tradition that's tied to the land with the resources that's being taken away for economic purposes.
Fishing, that's probably been the worst it's ever been. And I think we got to quit fishing for a while. 5 years, so we could have fish for our children and stuff.
You've got to look at economics and jobs versus the environment, protecting the environment. So it's a struggle, and with, like, on the reservation, we're looking at, what, over 60% unemployment. So people got to work and they got to make a living. But how do you protect the environment too? So it's a tough question that we're struggling with now, and definitely the pendulum is swinging over to the point of protecting the environment and long-term, protecting the resource.
The lake, to me, has feelings
No, that's what I was told. You know, when you go look at the lake, you know, it has feelings. It can be happy. And when you go out there on a sunny day, when it's real calm in the morning, the lake is happy, but it can also get vicious. You know, the lake can be vicious at times. Sometimes you go look up out on a cliffs by Red Lake, and you can look on the lake, and you can just tell the feelings of the lake. It can be mean. Which, when I know the lake is mean or the lake is mad, that's when I put out tobacco and say a prayer to the lake, because I gotta respect the lake when it gets mad too, and I gotta respect the lake when it's happy.
You know, I draw my strength now from the pristine land that we have here in Red Lake. We don't have polluted air, you know, and it saddens me, as well as a lot of other people, that the fish are no longer as plentiful as they once were.
We've seen that the lake has been overfished. I think many people are questioning the logging that's going on, and if it's sensible and rational, if it's being properly managed, because we are the stewards of our land, and that is, you know, as I said, our greatest wealth.
I think we need to recycle. We need to stop cutting down all our trees, limit people to what they take, and everybody needs to put back into the earth what they take.
You're seeing probably a new generation of leadership that has to be very cognizant and recognize very much that for us to survive as a people, we're going to have to be able to take care of ourselves, and by means of economic development, as well as balancing the culture.
Like the land, we listen to our elders. We respect them because they are the gateway to our traditions and our language. We dedicate ourselves to learn the knowledge they have to share. They teach us respect for the land and respect for all others. They teach us about our language, how it was lost, and how we can get it back.
Time when I was going to school there, we weren't allowed to speak our language. If they caught us speaking our Ojibwe, they would punish us. Or either what they used to do is take a ruler and hit your back of your hand and your fingers. Boy, it used to hurt. Sometimes the principal will spank older kids when they spoke their own language. That's their first language, Ojibwe.
I was scared being in there. I was just a little girl, and I just did everything what they told us to, and we didn't know how to talk English.
Sometimes they won't even let us talk Indian. They taught us to talk English. If somebody start talking, shh, you know what you're learning? You're learning in English. All kids will be talking Indian when little kids. It was kind of hard. Well, I didn't even know anything about English. Tried to taught me to talk English, but still we talk our own language. So, I am in my school, boarding school.
For our own protection, they didn't pass on that culture. they see and realize now they wish they would have. Like I said, my father was very, very fluent speaker. Whenever someone came from Red Lake to visit at our house in the cities, my father was just in his glory because he knew he had somebody he could sit and talk with, and they would sit and talk for hours and hours and laugh, all in Ojibwe. But when it come down to teaching his kids, he feared that because of what he went through and what my grandmother went through and what my great-great-grandmother and grandfathers went through, the punishment of taking that away from us and replacing it with something that isn't ours, and that would be another culture and another religion.
One of the most important things is the language. When you lose your language, you're losing a great part of your tribal identity. You're merely an Indian person, but you're not a specific like Ojibwe, Dakota, or anything if you don't retain your language.
I taught my children Chippewa, and they all know how to talk Chippewa.
And your grandchildren?
My grandchildren, some of them are starting to talk. They understand, but there's one boy, he doesn't, my son, don't understand anything.
Oh no.
When I talk Chippewa to him, he said, Mom, why do you always talk like that to me? He doesn't understand anything.
In order to understand the heart of our culture, that the language is necessary. And if we're not about the business of learning the language, there's a lot that you can't interpret in English that is from the language, the native tongue of our people.
Well, I know a lot of the elders that I currently do speak with for advice and stuff are all anxious, more than anxious, and have been coming into the school. They see culture and language as something very, very important in order for us to sustain our own identity and culture. Right now, we're in our first year immersion program with Vivian Stately. Being a pilot program, we did anticipate some problems with the language, full immersion, and we did encounter some problems. We have that we're working on. Elementary level, we have Pat Hardy doing language. Middle school, I believe we don't have anybody, something we need to work on. And the high school is very limited.
The biggest change I've seen is moving from the initial phases where the students did was to identify words, like this is a house, Ojibwe, Bakaiga, and that type of thing. Then moving into smaller sentences, everyday type sentences. And now it's grown into where the whole language concept of learning is the main focus of teaching the Indian children at Panema Elementary, and that's a big jump from where it was before.
Our traditions are the bond which holds our language, our ceremonies, our land, and the wisdom of our elders in harmony. We as a seventh generation must embrace our traditions and keep the essence of which it holds strong, able to withstand a test of time for yet another 7 generations.
You take Panema itself, the language is a traditional, because we all speak that language. We practice this Indian religion. Never died. Then all the ceremonies, drum ceremonies, naming ceremonies, and lake ceremonies, all kinds of ceremony that goes with the traditions. That's practiced here in Panema. And when you talk about tradition, sugar making, traditional sugar making, and wild ricing, all that. That's part of your traditions. We have a yearly traditional gathering at the high school. Usually the teachers they use that for a workshop to attend. But the community is invited to come. Even the students are invited to come to hear out these elderly people that's making these presentations.
I hope some of the younger people would take their time and learn how to do this. And I would be willing, if some of the younger people are willing to learn, I would be willing to show them or teach them.
This is my personal flute. And that's kind of what some of them sound like.
Is there any legend or story about how or why flutes were created by the Great Spirit?
There's different places have different legends. Different flutes were brought by different people or things. That the legend that I heard was for ours was a long time ago. The first man and the first woman were on the earth. And the first man wanted to give the first woman something special. And he didn't know what to give her. But he'd heard this sound come across the wind. And he couldn't figure out what the sound was, so he took off walking. And as he was walking, he walked for a couple days, and finally he stopped, and a woodpecker asked him what was the matter. And he told the woodpecker he heard the sound, and the woodpecker said, "Oh, I can show you what makes this sound." So he followed the woodpecker, and they came to a tree. And on the tree it had a broken branch, and the branch was hollow inside. And as the wind blew over this broken branch, it made a sound or tone. And the woodpecker said, "Well, I can show you how to fix this so that you can do this." And so the woodpecker showed the man. And on the way back, as he walked back, the man would listen to different sounds, to birds and stuff. And he would try to mimic them on the flute and make up his own songs and stuff. And so when he got back to the first woman, he had this flute, and it was in the evening time. And so he sat there and he played the flute for the first woman, and that's where it comes to be called a courting flute.
Personally, I like to get a hide that's as fresh as possible. What I'll do then is I'll string it up on the rack. This is one of my own things that I've devised. We string it up on the rack, and I've got a tool that I've made here. Traditionally, a long time ago, they used the bone of the front leg of a moose bone, and it's the same design. The front leg of the moose is the same design that I've got this scraper made from. What they did back then was they'd cut it at an angle into the bone like this. They used it that way. And like I said, I did a lot of improvising with the process of tanning hides. I don't soak my hides anymore. That's one of the processes that they used a long time ago.
Time is of the essence, that we talk to some of the elders that still remember what the importance of the culture and the traditions are, so you as youngsters can take those into the future and make sure that your children and grandchildren carry on the tradition that's so strong in Red Lake.
We are going to be the generation to make the change about the language and some other traditions to try to bring them back the way they used to do it in the old days. Our ancestors have faced and conquered many trials and tribulations. For the effort they have put into their long fight, we have gained a nation that stands alone and unique. Now the time has come where we must pick up where they have left off, not to fight for land, but to hold on to all they have gained. Hold on to our land, our language, our traditions, our ceremonies, those things that make Red Lake a free and unique nation.
I was holding on to my granddad's hand. He was pointing to the promised land that lay beyond the reservation road. He said, don't make a promise you won't keep. Don't betray the earth beneath your feet. And we walked on the reservation road. And just for that one moment, we were racing with the wind. And the sound of horses thundering, they echoed once again back to a place where our hearts and souls belong. 1,000 dreams away from that reservation road. 1,000 dreams away from that reservation road. I was holding on to my granddad's hand. He was pointing to the promised land that lay beyond the reservation road. He said, don't make a promise you won't keep. Don't betray the earth beneath your feet. And we walked on the reservation road.
In 1996-97, the Red Lake Warriors boys basketball team made school history by winning the Region 8A championship and going to the state tournament. This had never happened in school history before. It is also the first all-Native American team to ever make it to the Minnesota State boys basketball Final Four. Not only did they make Minnesota history, but people from all over our nation came to the game to show their support. We are proud of our Red Lake Warriors representing our nation by showing great sportsmanship and making it to the Final Four. In doing this, they honor the Red Lake Nation and all Native Americans.
Throughout the year, Red Lake showed tremendous teamwork and sportsmanship and always stuck together. Here are some of the highlights from the road to the Final Four.
Everybody get up, it's time to slam now. We got the real jam going down. Welcome to the Space Jam. Here's your chance, do your dance at the Space Jam. Alright.
Red Lake made history by making it to the Region 8A Championships, a feat never before accomplished by a Red Lake team.
Throughout the year, the fans showed their loyalty to the team by sticking by their side the entire season.
In the end, their teamwork and determination finally paid off by winning their Region 8A championship and becoming the first Native American team to make it to the state tournament.
It is loud in here. Great enthusiasm on both sides.
Lake is number 1.
Throughout the year, the Warriors proved to their fans that they were the greatest team to come out of Red Lake. And in return, the fans proved they were the best Red Lake ever had. The players became a role model for all young children. The cheerleaders rallied Red Lake onto the first state competition, which was held at BSU.
Cause we're close to the edge. We're trying not to lose our heads. I get the feelings from time that make me wonder why you wanna take us under. Why you wanna take us under? I get the feelings from time that make me wonder why you wanna take us under. Why you wanna take us under? Can't nobody take my pride.
After so many years of waiting, the Red Lake players finally got to be seated with the rest of the state's top teams at the tournament banquet at St. Paul.
Mike Martin, Gerald Kingler, Charlie Chernovsky, Art Temerton, Lyle Chaboyer, Jeffrey Keir, Kyle Garrett, Justin Meadows, Robert Smith, Chad Prentice, Wesley Strong, Andy Ognoff, Jesse Smith, George White, Delvin Holtison. I hope we're ready to play ball. We've been nervous for 2, 3, 4 days, maybe 2, 3 weeks or something. Come on and hope to represent Region 8.
The Red Lake Dream Team preparing for the Wabasso game.
Tell me what it is you see into my eyes and tell me what it is you see in me. Coming through the door without a leash. Why did he bring big hits? Yeah, but they ain't nobody caught. One thing in the stove, go give a bit. Giving all that little off, but on this fine side. Give 'em my babies, all of my money, but my diamonds still be shining my gang. You know me, homies get more love. In the best part of my sunsets, plus I'm just a motor. Gotta keep the load up over my shoulders, G. Hit 'em high.
Well, the Warrior fans are on their feet, and the Warrior players are asking their fans and saying, raise the roof. And they're making a lot of noise. It's a long time out here, as Janet just said.
As the game got more intense, so did Jack's coaching.
I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. I think about it every night and day. Spread my wings and fly away. I believe I can soar. I see me running through that open door. I believe I can fly.
Although Red Lake lost the game, they still carried themselves like true champions. They did this by showing the other team respect and showing good sportsmanship. By doing this, they proved to everyone that they are the real champions, our champions, the Warriors. How do you feel about being the first American Indian team to make it to state?
How did it feel? It's pretty good to make it up there, because finally gave us Indians some recognition on the state.
How did you feel about the record you set?
It's good. It's good to set records. I don't think they'll break our records for years.
What's your goals for next year's season?
Take the state championship.
How do you feel about being the first American Indian team to make it to state?
Nothing I can really say about that. It just felt pretty good, because it's been pretty much Red Lake's dream to go to state all these years, and we're always put up against, and back in the 50s and that, I always went up against Bemidji and that, but now we got our chance. They went to this new 4-class system, so it felt pretty good.
Is there anything else you would like to add?
I think we're going to take state next year, because there really won't be nobody around who'll be able to hang with us.
And hundreds of thousands of fans watching you play affect how you played?
No, Jack always tells us just put a big wall around the court, so that's what I did.
What position do you play?
I played a bench.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Thanks for the year, Charlie, Gerald, Owen, Bob. I forgot the other player. Mike. And all the other guys that helped us make it to state, and George especially. And can't forget our manager Dalton. And our stat man Conan. And our camera guy, William Brunn. That's about it.
Thank you. Okay, can you tell us your name and where you're from, your age?
Robert Smith from Red Lake. I'm 17.
Can you tell us how you felt when you won Region 8A and made it to state?
I felt good about it, knowing that we're the first team to make that. A lot of good teams tried before, didn't seem to do it. We played as a team and played good.
Did having hundreds of thousands of fans watching you affect how you played?
Yeah, it made me play harder. I didn't want to mess up in front of them and let them down. It made me play better, harder.
I would just like to thank everybody, thank the community, the biggest thing. The support was tremendous. I think that Cherry game going down to Crookston, I think it really helped the kids. That sixth man as the fans did a super job for us.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Keep you friend. Memories give me the strength I need to proceed. Strength I need to believe. My thoughts big, I just can't define. Wish I could turn back the hands of time. Us in the same.
How was the banquet last night or whenever?
Alright.
How was the banquet last night or whenever?
Alright. Cheap on food.
Yeah, I kind of thought so too.
Yeah.
How are those green beans or peas or whatever?
Tastes like grass.
Yeah.
I don't know. Pretty good. Ain't used to that kind of food. Likes rice. He's a rice lover.
How would you feel if you got in there? Would you?
I don't know, when I got in there, that Babasso came there, I had shit in my pants.
Anything to say to your fans?
Oh, well, I missed them, I guess. I had fun these last couple of years on this team. A lot of fun, especially this year. A lot of good times. Especially this tournament here. It's unbelievable.
Dreams of how we used to be. See if everything and that baby looking like you're gone away. I've been missing you lately. Tell me what you're going through.
I remember selling 3 bricks of straight flour. Got my man a beat down to the 3rd power. He didn't care, spent the money in a half hour. Got the fish scale, rained on competition like the shower. Got the coke cooked up, I cracked Ed Kevin in 88. When Kane ruled with half-stepping. A 38, a lot of mouth was our only weapon. We was kings till the D's crept in, and now I'm listening.